someone had brought it to my attention that these new videos I was uploading were not coming out in left and right because I had unplugged my audio interface to plug into my laptop. I'm working on a song right now. This thing over here. And yeah, like when I plugged it back in, my recording software had decided to reset the setting that said I wanted to make mono to mono, not mono to stereo. So when you do mono to stereo, it's always going to come out the left side for reasons. So yeah, today I'm going to go over builds, right? So yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'm going to tell you how I do them and explain how I do them and go through to give you a demonstration of how I do my drops, and you can learn from that or not or whatever. Not really take what you want from it or not. I'll explain quite a bit. I find it's pretty solid for getting everything here. So basically, let me hang on. Let's try this. We'll call you like fastest. So in a drop, you want, in my experience and what I do, like EDM and stuff, you want like a 16 bar drop and rise, or 8 bar, like 8 or 16. That's how I do it. When I say like you want this or whatever, I'm just saying like what I want. I'm not actually being serious. So what I do is I have like an 8 bar fall down that I call the pre-build. It's basically where you take out some of, you try to cool off, because usually when you come to a build, you have something a little more intense than the build going on. And what I like to do is like to like fall off that and have it like everything calm down. And then I like to bring in the build elements to build the tension from having everything calm down, and then I like to use the drop. So I have a pre-build, an actual build. The pre-build is 8 bars, the build is 4. I have a fast build that's usually 2. The fastest part of the build, which is 1 bar, and then a fill, it's 1 bar, and then my drop. Sometimes the fastest part of my build will be 1.5 bars, and then my fill will only be 0.5 bar. It's dependent on whatever. These are just very general guidelines here, so you can see I have them organized with these clips. This is how I like to do everything. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you all the things you can use in a drop to make it work. So here we go. I made this project earlier, and there was like a 50-minute video, and I was totally going to upload it, but then someone said it was only coming out the left side, so I was like, never mind. So hopefully we can keep this one like 15 minutes-ish. So basically, unless you want more in-depth stuff on this. So my favorite tricks to use when doing builds are pitch bends and filters. And then like your basic rhythmic stuff like snares. Like doing this. And you can see I'm using a high pass filter. If we scroll all the way over here, we have a filter right here. That's just I'm automating the resonance, the cutoff of a high pass in this fashion seen here. And yeah, this goes back to the build. So basically this first 4 bars here is my build. 1, 2, 3, 4 is my build. And this is my fast build right here. And this is like the 2 bars. Then right here is the fastest part of the build. And my drop, then my fills right here. So in the fastest part of the build, that's where I have the most intense automation usually, to really try to take all the frequencies and tighten them up and like finish them before the fill, and then whatever. That's what I do personally. You don't have to do this. It's preference. And then I do my side chaining, but you'll notice my side chaining isn't actually as heavy as the snare at the end here, because the snare gets quite tiny. but never, I'll just emphasize how tiny it gets here. It's like that. So it goes down to like 16ths and such. I never, and now I'm just creating problems for myself. There we go. Yeah, I don't use the, well, you can do the side chaining that heavy, but what you want to do is you want to like automate down the volume as you do this to make sure you don't just drown out your sounds with sidechain. So you just automate down the volume, because I use a trigger to avoid that problem. So if you were to do this without a trigger, it would be a little more complicated, but I try to avoid doing that. So I just have, I just keep it at like 1 beat. After when I hit the fast build part, I just keep it to 1 beat, and then I'll do whatever with the snares, but it's still got that rhythm to it. So important parts, the most important part of having a rise is some sort of sound effect that has like a, it's like basically a tone with a pitch that rises with lots of FX and such. So they'll usually sound, you can find them. Leviathan has a really good one for risers. I hear them like everybody uses them. They go like that. So I made my own, and I actually showed you guys how to make this when I made it. Like I was showing off how to make it. But yeah, it sounds like this. I just did that. It was really simple. It's like a sine / square wave. I'll show you what I got going on. It's a massive. I'm just modulating a bandpass as so with one macro. It's doing everything. And then I've got an amplitude modulation on my oscillator 1, which is the only one I'm using, along with the noise oscillator on bright. I'm modulating the color of the noise to make it get brighter, like to make the sound wide when it begins, then sound tighter when it gets to the end. And then I also modulate from a sine to a square really slowly, along with modulating the actual movement of that back and forth kind of thing with an LFO. And then I'm also modulating the rate of the LFO. I have some reverb, and I'm using a bandpass filter, and it comes out like this. If I actually deactivate this, I can just show you. If you couldn't tell, I was also modulating the pitch. Did not mention that. So yeah, that's what's going on here. This is standard. It's really basic. I'm not good at doing this kind of stuff. I didn't add any like FX to it afterwards or anything. I wasn't trying to make anything too crazy, nor do I have that much experience, so it'd probably come out being pretty crappy anyways. So I made that sound, and then I basically explained, so you have your 8-bar fall down, your 8 bars here of pre-build, of doing whatever. I skipped the pre-build and the drop, but it's right here. This is the pre-build. And so I emphasize the fact that when you start your build, you want to have some sort of separation from the pre-build. So what I like to do is I like to use an impact like that, or mainly the clap, and it kind of separates it from the rest of the things, because you want to like, you pretty much like want impacts or some sort of something going on like every 8 bars to just like verify that it's like an 8-bar, that you're changing your bars kind of thing, keep structure. So it's just one of those things. And I went over basically all the tactics you can do to get everything the way you want. So I'm going to start with, so we got the riser. You want a riser of some sort. It's like an FX. We have, this is what our FX right now all sound like together. That's what's going on. And then, yeah. So then I use chords as well to fill in a lot of empty space. but I used an audio track for the chords instead. Because feeling kind of lazy. It's basically like an A minor being played over and over again with some chord switches. And it sounds like this. I went over how cool it is when you make a chord stack of like your saw bass, your accent detunes, and then your super saws, and you pitch them up, but they're playing like your key, whatever key you're in. So I'm playing an A, so I'm playing a full A chord with an octave pair, and with one octave pair on the A, and then like your other 3 standard. Hang on a second. There's 3. Okay, so there's 3 A's. 1, 2, 3, playing like the bass note A in the chord, and then I've got my 1 really. I have a 1 chord, and then I have an extra A being played an octave higher and lower. That's what I'm doing. And yeah, so I pitch bended the automation, or not the automation, the audio here to make it rise. And that mixed in with the sidechaining, like, just has a really, really cool effect. I really like that, and that's what I like to do. That's a new thing I just learned there the other day. Not learned, I was experimenting on this new song, and I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. But yeah, so we got that. So, and then I also low pass it to a high pass. Which helps like open it up when you do this. Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm doing. You can see the automation here. It's just a cutoff and resonance of a low pass filter. Just a 1 slope, not a 4. And then I went on to an arpeggiator. It's a really basic arpeggiator. It's just playing like this chord here, as you can see. Basically 2 A's and then the 2 middle notes if you're to play your first A chord in the A minor scale. And it's just a square wave with a pitch off and then like some reverb. So it sounds like this. And this is being high passed, cut off, resonance, again following my little structure here. Not on purpose, just on instinct, and then it goes like this. Yep, so you can, arpeggiator pitch bend is nice too. Really helps, and I have it exported to audio here just to save time. Or CPU, not that I need to, I guess, but yeah, and then I just have a snare being played. The snare is being high pass as well, as you heard earlier. I have a trigger going on. My triggers are always the same. They're just white noise. It's really short white noise though, like if this was audible. You know what? Oh, that's weird. Never mind. Yeah, but I have that, and there's nothing really else going on in here at all. It's just those chords, these 3 FX, the arpeggiator, and the snare, and it's gonna sound like this. And you can see down here how it follows this build, fast build, and then I didn't put that part in there yet, but because I'm that lazy. Fastest, and then not even close, man. I also just realized that my audio settings didn't go back down, so my volume was like way too loud. My bad. That's fixed now though. Yeah, so that was my advice for you on the drops there. We can listen to it one more time. And there's no fill here. You don't necessarily need a fill, but sometimes you might. Let's listen. This has a fill. It's just a vocal. Listen to this here. This is like the pre-build right now. And the build's coming right now. Yeah, that was the project that gave me that chord idea. Also, something I failed to mention that sounds good with the sidechaining is if you actually make a synth sound here, and I'll use massive. Oh yeah, I turned this off. That's right. You know what? No, I'll give some love to Harmer right now. Let's use a Harmer for fun. What I like to do is you just like make a sound that just has like pitch bend somewhere in it that like rises. Like that. Oh yeah, I was being silly the other day when I was like, oh, I don't know how to like do the pitch thing. Literally just do that right there. Though that's quite the extreme pitch bend. This is more or less what I was aiming for, because now I can do this. I totally didn't think about that the other day. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and, although Harmer, it's not picking it up. Now, why is that? That is weird. Modulation X. I guess if I type in modulation, it'll show me the X, Y, Z. That's weird that doesn't just pop up right away. I'd have to like custom make Harmer, like someone had pointed out. I could custom make it so every time I load it, it would automatically just do this for me. Yeah, but you make the sound, and you have it play a root key of some sort. So... you could, And then we could just automate the pitch at that fast build part. That's what I do, at least. This one's a bit of a pain to set up. There we go. And I'll pitch bend it like this. And you would have to like filter it again, so we'll just grab the filter from the drum kit and put it on here. Yeah, that's my advice. Oops, for you on the drop arrangement and stuff. Stuff to did. Wow, this thing got big pretty fast here. Yeah. All right. See ya.